Good evening, guys. So, for those who are sitting in India, good afternoon for people who are based out of the Middle East, and good morning for the people based out of US. So, yes, I'm very thrilled and excited to bring this session in front of you. So, today we're going to talk about interactive email and how these interactive emails can help you supercharge your engagement with your brands. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any doubts, please feel free to put it on chat or the question and answer section. I'll be more than happy to answer those while the question is shown, or anyways, we'll have a question and answer section at the end of the session. So yes, please feel free to clear your doubts. And I'm so sorry we are keeping this very late in the evening because I know for people based out of India, many of you have an holiday tomorrow. And yes, you want to wrap up work early and go home. But yeah, I'm not going to take much time. We'll wrap this up in the next 30 minutes. All right, perfect. We're going to go ahead with this time. So basically, a bit about me. So my name is Alok. I'm the EVP of Customer Success at Network Solution. I have more than 10 years of experience in doing email marketing for various brands, which comprises from industry like e-commerce, travel, hospitality, or any industry that you name it. I have worked with majority of the industries. And yes, I'm very delighted to bring this in front of you guys. All right, what exactly is an interactive email? So basically, we all know that we send emails to all our customers, promoting some offers, promoting some, or giving them a piece of information which we want them to see. And what do we expect with those emails to happen? People will open those emails. People will click on those emails and will go to our website and see more information. Now, we are talking about a different breed of email altogether. Now, instead of uh, people, let's say, clicking on an email and then going to your website, interactive emails are the one wherein the people can take the action which is desired by companies like yours or company or marketers like yours within an email itself. And these actions could be in the form of, let's say, filling a survey, a person clicking and watching a video, or a person adding items to the cart, do a reservation, playing a game also for that matter. So all of this is possible now in an interactive email and can be done within an email. I'm going to go a bit quick. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, please drop a note on the chat. Why do we need interactive emails? Somebody may question that, yeah, why do I need people to take an action within an email? They can actually go to my website and do what I want them to. But actually, based on the studies done by Martech Advisor, what we saw is that whenever a brand is using an interactive content within an email, they've seen the increase in click-through rates by more than 200%. And this is actually on a study done for more than 50 brands. Now, another reason could be there's a study done by Capost wherein they study various retail brands, not only retails, e-commerce, retail, travel, and other brands who are using interactive content. And they saw that whenever they're using an interactive content, the probability of selling to that customer increases almost by 2x. Now, let me bring a fun fact in front of you guys. Demand versus supply. There was a study done by Litmus recently, wherein Litmus found out that 91% of the people whom they surveyed, they said that they want to receive interactive emails from the brands that they buy with, which could be in the form of, let's say, um, it could be a video in email. It could be, let's say, a game, or people want to see a fun element within an email. People want to do things within an email. People don't want to go to another website wherein the time increases. So if you see, um, a person usually don't give more than 10 seconds on an email that they open. So basically, your time frame to catch attention of a user is lesser than 10 seconds. So if your email is not fun enough or exciting enough for users to hold on to, you're going to lose your customer. So based on the study done, 91% of the people said that they want to receive interactive content from within the email. But on the other side, only 17% of the marketers are actually sending interactive content. So there's a big gap between the demand and the supply chain. And that is where we feel that yes, more and more marketers uh, could actually use more and more interactive elements within the email and cater to their customers. So basically, some of the examples that why do we need interactive emails? Interactive email can actually help us to increase engagement with the user in terms of clicks, in terms of filling a form, in terms of taking any other action or doing a reservation within an email. Then it also helps us to increase the user experience. Let's say you take a, let's say you show a fun-filled game within an email, and within that game, you ask user to find something which is new on your website. Let's say you're doing a product launch, and you show a jigsaw puzzle kind of thing, wherein people can open that puzzle, and people can, let's say you give them that find the item within that email, and if they find it, they get a coupon. That creates an amazing user experience for the user. Anyways, we are going to go through the examples of each of these in the coming slides. Then interactive emails can actually become a mode of assisted conversion for you, wherein you actually guide the users on how they can do the purchase within the email. So actually, instead of people going to a website, they can complete the conversion within the email. You can collect user opinion within the interactive email, and you can gamify it. And it actually also helps you in increasing the brand recall value. Let's say you send an email to the user, which was really attractive, and it actually caught the user's attention. So next time when I'm thinking, let's say if it's a phone that you're looking to buy, okay? And when a user get an email about a mobile phone and there's a game associated in finding the features of that phone within an email, and what happens is users play that game. Users find the feature of that phone. So automatically they spend time on that brand, they spend time on that phone, and then once they go back to their normal life, they'll have more recall value. Now there are certain, there are lots and lots of interactive email elements which any brand can use. It can be in the form of animation and hover effect. It can also be in the form of videos in email, or it can be in the form of various elements like questionnaires, using an image carousel, using product display pages, or showing interactive reviews within an email, or using an accordion. I'm going to show you an example of each of these and explain you how these work. Now look at this example where different brands are using animation. Now look at this first example. This was actually done by Forever 21. They show you three examples: 15%, 20%, 25%, and it's in the form of a scratch card. And they are asking you to click on this email and find out what exactly is the offer that user has got. So it actually creates a sense of curiosity among the user, and they'll definitely click and go to your website to see the offer. Or it can also be done within an email, wherein user click on this mail, scratch the card, and then see the offer. Now look at the next image that we have here. This is actually done by one of the e-commerce portals, actually a fashion portal, wherein what they did is they used a technology called rollover or hover images. So basically, when you point your mouse pointer towards the image, they can show you different angles of that image, or they can actually show you different colors of that product. Let's take an example here. Let's say you are an e-commerce portal who's selling shoes. Now, when you're selling a shoe, and if you're promoting that in an email, you may want users to see the different angles on how that shoes look when they buy it. So let's say you promote a product here, you promote a shoe here. When I hover my mouse around that shoe image, it shows me how the shoes look from bottom, how the shoes look from side, how the shoes look from inside. And this can be applicable for any of the item that you may have. It is applicable in terms of travel. You show me various, let's say, images of a hotel that I'm trying to book. You show me different views of a dress that I'm trying to buy. Now, next one actually focuses on, next one actually is the example of video element. If you look at the first example here, which was done by Comtrain, what Comtrain does is, they are more like a sports trainer or sports coach brand. Now, they send their user a weekly mailer, and in that weekly mailer, they'll show you an exclusive video within the email. By the way, there's a fact here. Gmail actually doesn't support videos to be played within the mailer. So what brands can do is either they can use a GIF, which can help you in showing a preview of the video within the mailer, or you can use something which Harley Davidson used. They showed you a play button, which is GIF, and what happens when users see something like this moving? They usually go to that button and then they click on it. So what happens is When you click on this, you'll be redirected to a page wherein you can see the video. So in this case, what we saw is for Complaint, we saw that 100 to 200% increase in click-through rates with that. And for Harley Davidson, actually, it's not a fact of the Harley Davidson. Based on a survey, what users say is whenever there's a video associated with a product, that video actually helps them in making the decision of buying the product or not. I'm going to move on quickly to the how interactive emails to collect, let's say, opinions from the users, to collect users' interest level, or also actually letting the users to book a product within the mailer. Let's look at this first example. I'm going to play a video. Now, this first example was actually done by, okay, let me go back. Now, let's look at this first video. Now, Redbus actually wanted to send a communication to the users, asking them how well do they know that brand. So in this, they're asking the user that which are the features of Redbus that you know. And you have the option to click on those options and then fill a small feedback also. You click on submit, and immediately the feedback gets captured within an email without taking the users to another website, and then you show a thank you page. I'm going to take a very another example here, wherein actually a brand actually allows the user to select the date. Let's say it's actually an appointment booking system, wherein you show the users an option of the dates which are available for an appointment. Once they select the date, they'll be shown the option to select the time. And when the time is selected, they'll be shown the options to provide the details and confirm the booking. So I select the date first. So I provide my contact details. So basically, in this case, I think the video has got lost. Okay. So I'll provide my contact details and then click on book now. So what happens is I selected the date, I selected the time slot, I give my contact details, and the user booked the appointment within an email without going to a third-party website. So this actually significantly enhances the user experience and makes doing things on an email super easy for users. Now, what happens is if, let's say, if you ask users to go to a third-party website and take an action, it may not happen. Okay, but when you do it within an email, it becomes super easy for the users. Now, there's another feature feature of interactive emails, wherein within a single tile, you can show multiple images of a product to the users. And actually, users can click on the left, right button or the different option button, and they can see what's the next product. Let's look at this Google example. This actually is a very wonderfully done by Google for their AirPods. So basically, you go to the mailer, you open the mailer, you scroll down, and Google shows you different color options. If you click on those color options, they will immediately show you that how that color is actually going to look. Doesn't this sound like really interesting? Actually, yeah, I was actually fascinated when I saw this mailer. That how easy they have made it for the users to see all the available options for that product and go to the landing page if I want to buy it. A similar example for another brand, wherein on the home page banner, they show the different options that are available with them, like different kind of sign-off. They sell actually the signboard, that's a US-based brand, and they show you the different signboard options that are available with them. You simply click on this left or right button and you can see the options. So yeah, this is applicable across any of the industries. All about listing the use cases, and this can actually help you out. Now, next is the product display page. Now, what happens on a product display page? You take users to your website, they click on one of the product, and then they see all the product details, correct? Now, in this case, what happens is, let's say if I look at the second example first, I'm going to go to the first example, but I'm going to go to the second example first. Let's say this is the mailer done by one of the hotels. Let's say they're showing a twin deluxe room or a single room. Let's say you are interested in twin deluxe room. So click on it immediately, and you'll be shown the option to select your check-in date and checkout date. Okay. Now you select your check-in date and checkout date, and you click on reserve button, and immediately your booking gets confirmed. and it showed that yes, your booking has been confirmed. You can click here, and then you can find out more details on it. But let's look at this another example, or the first example that we have, that how BBC did it for their users. So BBC actually launched a new series on the animals, okay, and they actually wanted to give a glimpse of what the characters of those series are within the email, actually without taking the users to another page. So basically, they created a plus button there, and if you click on that plus button, you'll get a preview of what this character is all about. And if you want to know more about that character, you simply click on it and you go to the landing page. But yes, it's very nice and quirky way to introduce users about the different features available for them. Now, this was a very interesting example for one of the hotels, wherein what you can actually do is, let's say if there's any live data available on the website, which you want the users to see, actually within the email. Let's say you're promoting a hotel room and you want users to see the reviews available for the hotel room. So you show a review and you give a button to users to click and see the different reviews. Now, this can be applicable for various industries. First one could be, let's say, you're selling a mobile phone, and people usually look for many expert opinions. People look for what users are saying about their phone before buying it. So when you're promoting a product, below that, show what users are saying about that product. So that, yes, it actually builds confidence among the users and convinces the user to take the next step towards the conversion process. But brands have to be very careful here. Let's say if you have a lot of negative reviews, that this may actually not work for you. So be careful when you're implementing something like this. Now, there's another feature of interactive emails, or another element of interactive email, which is called Accordions. Accordions is nothing but a collapsible menu. Let's say you want users to show more details. This is actually very similar to the product display, but it has more features. Let's look at this first example, which was actually implemented by BBC. Again, they were launching a series called A Perfect Planet, and they wanted users to get a glimpse of what the different things that they're going to show in that series. And once users were interested, they can click on that and they can actually go to the landing page to read about that. Now, let's say if I click on volcano, I'll be given a glimpse of what this volcano is all about. And I'm given a button to click and go to the actual landing page and see more about that series. Similarly, this is actually a sample mailer. This is not done by them, but this was a sample mailer created by us. That how it is applicable for different, let's say, industries. Let's say for an education industry who promotes different education courses. So you show the list of a few courses that you have, and when users click on it, you can show them a glimpse of what they learn in that course. Or if it is for an e-commerce industry, you show them what they will get when they buy this product. And then you show them the price and give them a link to buy that product immediately. Instead of taking users to the website to show more details, you can show them more details within the mailer itself. And now this is the last example that I'm going to show, that how brands are using various gamification techniques to create interaction with the users and ensure that, yes, users are engaging with them and get a real life experience. Now let's look at this first example. Let's say if you're selling a painting, okay? Now, before anyone buys a painting, it's very important that they want to feel that how that painting is going to look in their house. So in this mailer, this brand actually created the setting of a living room, and then they give you an option to click on this next button, and they give you a preview of how this painting is going to look in your living room. And then once you click on that, you select the different paintings. The prices also change, and even the shopping button changes. So this actually can be used for different items altogether. This actually creates a sense of real life experience for the users, and it actually can help brands a lot. Now let's look at this another example, which is actually, let's say, a gamified version. Now, what happens is users are given a puzzle. They can click on this images and they can create the jigsaw puzzle. So this actually creates lots of curiosity among the users to find out what is there in the mailer, what the brand is trying to do. So it kind of creates a fun element for the users. And actually, there was a survey done by a brand wherein user said that they would like to purchase from a brand which creates fun element for them. They would not like to buy from a boring brand. So actually, this actually can work out for many industries. Now, coming to the main question, how do we implement AMP? Many are talking about it. So basically, AMP is nothing but a minified version of Google accelerated mobile pages, which is applicable into email. So basically, you give the users a functionality to operate the way they operate in website within the email. So let's say uh, the examples that we talked about, showing a form to the users, showing options to, let's say, reserve a table for their dinner, many more options. So it's more like a modern app functionality within an email. Now, to do this, there are various requirements by Google. So basically, there are Google security requirements. By the way, I'm going to paste the link of all these things in the chat so that if you want to read more about this, that what are the Google security requirements. So you can click on that and you can read about that, what exactly are the requirements. Now, another very important thing, AMP actually uh, does not work on all the platforms as of now. It only works for Google, that is Gmail. It works for Yahoo, and then it works for mail.ru. Now, let's say if you're sending an AMP mail, uh, you would also want to send a fallback mailer along with that. Let's say in the cases where the AMP mail doesn't load, the normal static mailer will load in those cases, and users will not get a bad experience. A third thing, you would also want to know how to do the AMP coding. So Google has created more like a mini website, which is called the Google AMP Playground. You can go there. You can see all the options or all the AMP elements which are available to us, and you'll get the sample coding also for that. So you can actually take inspiration of the coding from there, and you can implement in your mailers also. And whatever AMP mailers that you create, you must test them in the AMP playground before you decide to send it to the users. And third is, which is more like a one-time thing, you have to verify your sender domain with the Google so that Google enables AMP on that domain. So basically, based on the different studies and the takeaways that we have, one of the things that we notice is that do not include too many interactive elements. Limit it to one or to the max two, because too many things can actually confuse the user. Second is, do not repeat what is not working. So let's say if we have used a video in emailer today, okay, and we see that we did not get that great engagement, then the ideal thing would be not to repeat it and come up with something new. And third is experiment. As we saw all the elements of the interactive mails, it's very important that you experiment with them, come up with more and more use cases on how it can be applicable for your brand, or how actually you can create a better user experience for all your customers or prospects. So these are the main things. Now, before I get into the question and answer section, I just wanted to give you a brief of what's there in the next session. So in the next session, which is next 46 p.m., our founder Rajesh Chain, he's going to talk about a new concept altogether. Now there's something called atomic rewards in media. I'm very sure people must not have heard of it, so I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse on it. Now, what happens in marketing? Basically, any company allocates 80% of their budgets for acquisition, 20% of the budgets for retention, or maybe it is actually even lesser in many brands, 90% for acquisition and 10% for retention. And when you go towards that 80% of the budgets, what we also saw is that out of that 80% of the budget which is spent on acquisition, a big portion of that is spent on reacquiring the customers who have gone inactive with you. So we have come up with a new concept wherein instead of spending money on reacquiring your existing customers, you can create a very interactive system wherein you reward your users for being active with your brand. So Rajesh is going to talk more about it in the next session. So request guys to register for it, and I'm 100% sure that yes, you guys are going to love this. Now the next thing, so this is the first time happening in Asia. So we along, hold on, just one second. So we along with Asia INC are organizing the Asia's first ever email marketing awards, and these awards are basically divided between 14 categories, and then we'll have people from different companies and 12 global speakers joining. So for this, we would want you to filter out the good unique campaigns that you have done, and the campaigns which actually got good engagement from your customer. So basically, go to the Asia INC website or go to our website. You'll find the link there and register for the good campaigns which fetched good results for you. And we'll be announcing, or we'll have a virtual live event for this on 16th December from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. IST. Now I'm open for questions.
So Alok, we have one question. We have quite a few questions in the chat box as well as in the Q&A. So the first question is, what is the actual average rate seen for such mailers with same segment of customer base compared to regular mailer?
Okay, so I'm not going to take. So I'm going to take an example. Let's say this actually we have noticed with various brands who have done this. So let's say if you use a form within a mailer, okay, and now that form is actually to collect the feedback from the users. Now what we have seen is then that when we put a form within an email, instead of asking the users to click on a link, go to a third party form filling survey and then fill it, we saw that the within the email form got 130% higher response rate. That's example of one. But if you look at the second slide that I have, that why do we need to do interactive emails? So we have seen that on the same set of customer base, there's an upliftment of close to 100 to 100 to 200% increment in the click-through rate and close to 2x increase in the conversion rates.
Okay. So Alok, we have a second question from Deepa V. It says, what is the TAT of these mailers post HTMLization? And what is the additional deployment cost or extra cost of HTML version of these?
Okay. So I may not be able, I may actually not be able to comment on what's the additional deployment cost or the extra cost of HTML version, but the TAT of these HTML actually totally depends on the HTML or the product guides that are there on your website. And yes, about the deployment, now usually what happens is before you start to sending the AMP mailers to your users, there's a one-time whitelisting that needs to be done with the Gmail for the domain which you're going to use. That usually takes anywhere from 7 to 15 days or sometimes even more. But that's a one-time thing. So you should get your domain whitelisted with Google. And then once you have it, it totally depends on how soon you HTMLize the ideas that you have and get it deployed to users.
Okay. Alok, we have three questions totally, and the next one is, what are the different use cases for AMP that can be used in e-commerce?
Okay, perfect. That's actually a very good question. Now let's take an example of a product promotion. I actually showed various samples of it, but I'll talk about one particular example which is very good. Let's say if you're selling a t-shirt, okay, or if you're selling a jacket. Now, the usual experience is I go to a store, I check out how the jacket looks from the front, I check out how the jacket looks from the side, or I check out how the jacket looks from the back. Now, the same kind of experience can be given within the mailer also. You use a rollover image concept, and once users come and go to that image tile, they will be able to see the different versions of that image or the different versions of that product. That could be one. Another example could be, let's say if you're selling a phone, okay, you're an e-commerce firm, you're selling a phone. And as we talked about, people usually look for the expert opinions. People usually look for the user reviews for any product before they buy. So you can include them within the mailer. People can actually click within the mailer and see the different user reviews of the product which you're showing. And then they can proceed to the next step. So there are there's so many use cases which can come up for the e-commerce industry.
Okay, we have two questions last. And the question is, can AMP be used to collect payments within the email?
Actually, no. So basically, let's say if you want to collect payment, the only step that'll be needed is users click on buy the product. they can go to the third-party payment gateway, and they'll have to complete the payment there. Since there's involvement of multiple parties here, that's why it is not supported within the AMP. So the first party is you, second party is Gmail, and then the third party becomes your banking partner. So yeah, right now it's only between the two parties and not the third party.
Okay. We have another question from Anand. He says, "Hi, Alok. How long will it take for the domain verification to be completed?"
Pardon me, can you repeat, please?
Anand R says, "Ask how long will it take for the domain verification to be completed?"
So it usually takes anywhere from 7 days to 15 days.
Okay. Another question we have in the Q&A section. He asks, "Will AMP improve my email deliverability?"
Actually not. It can actually not also. I'll say yes and I'll say no also. Okay. I'll say yes because these AMP or interactive emails are going to help you increase your engagement with the users. And if your engagement increases, definitely your reputation is going to improve and your deliverability is going to improve. And I'll say no also because it may actually not help you in the places where the AMP is not supported at all. But definitely, yes, if you use AMP and you create ways to increase the engagement with the user, it's going to help you in improving your email deliverability. Are there? So I think there's one more question. Are there any use cases from the financial services sector that we can look at? Actually, yeah, there can be actually many use cases. So let me take an example of, especially for the financial sector. NPS is an integral part of any banking or financial industry. So you can completely automate that and make it in the form of an email. Another thing, let's say if you're launching a new product or you're launching a new insurance plan, you can put it in an email. Users can open that email. Users can, let's say, read the different features by clicking on different elements, and then they can decide whether they want to read more about that plan. So there can be many actually. So if I have to put it in simpler words, the possibility is limitless. It's all that we need to think that how do we want to implement it for our users, or how do we want to create ways to engage more with the users.
So we have one last question, Alok. The response from the customer on AMP campaign can be used as attribute for next mail to be scheduled.
It can be. So basically what happens is there are two ways you collect data within an AMP data. Either you collect on one of your data server, or your service provider can help you in collecting that data. And every data is associated with the user's unique identity. So obviously you can use the data collected from the survey in your next campaign.
Right. So there is one last question from Shaswati about the financial sector question. So she asks, how effective will it be?
Okay. It's a very open-ended question, I'll tell you. Now, it totally depends on the kind of elements that we're using and the kind of interactivity that we are creating. Now, as I said in one of the key takeaways, it's all about experimenting and then finding out what is working, what is not working. There's no short route for success. We need to brainstorm. We need to come up with ideas on how do we engage with the users, implement it, and see. If it works out well, we continue it. If it doesn't, we abandon it, and then we come up with more and more